Hello guys, welcome to a new video, and in this video we are going to implement dynamic network address translation, and this is for the section 5, and we're going over 5.3 for the CCNA security exam. So if you want to take the CCNA security exam, or if you just want to learn how to implement dynamic NAT on a Cisco ASA or Cisco firewall um, using only the CLI, or the command line interface, you can go ahead and start watching this video. And if you want to know how to configure it using the ASDM, I have a video on that. So go over to my YouTube channel, subscribe to it, and then watch the video. Okay. So on the video before, we did not go over how or what is NAT and how NAT works. So I'm just going to do a real quick presentation on dynamic NAT. And dynamic NAT involves having a pool of global addresses and only mapping those global addresses to the inside devices. When those inside devices have a need to go out to the internet, and as you can see right here, um, you have a pool of private IP addresses mapping to a pool of public IP addresses, so we can go to the internet. We are doing this because private IP addresses um, are only supposed to be in the inside, like the ISP internet service provider do not allow these IP addresses outside, so we need a pool of uh, IP public IP addresses so they can be routed to the internet. And dynamic NAT um, map a private IP address to a public IP address from a pool of public IP addresses, just like I said. And we're not going to talk about path, that's for another video. And just a quick introduction of how dynamic NAT works. So now what we need to do is we need to go ahead and configure that. Um, so what we need to do is we need to open go ahead to my GNS3, and as you can see on my topology, you can see that I have a router over there, router 1, and it has that IP address over there. So that router um, is already configured with an IP address of 200.1.1.2. So, and I also configure over here on the router, I configure a default gateway to be the ASA. So whenever we ping the router, we are able to get replies back to the ASA. Um, so that's how we are going to be able to um, that's how we're going to be able to I'm sorry that's how we're going to be able to reach this inside network over here. So what we need to do is just configure the ASA with the internet interface right here, interface gigabit 01 with this IP address, and give it a zone or internet, and this zone over here is going to be the inside with the IP address of 192.168.1.1, and all these devices over here have their IP addresses configured with a default gateway of the ASA right here, 192.168.1.1. So let's go ahead and open that ASA, and what we need to do, we can just go to enable, there's no password, config T, I always like to give it a host name of ASA, that's fine, just to keep it simple. And then after that, what we need to do is go ahead and configure um, interface gigabit 01, and like I said, IP address of 200.1.1.1 slash 24, and we are going to name if internet, actually internet, that's how we're going to name it, internet. And as you can see, um, if we go ahead and say, I mistyped this, oops, again, oh, come on, there we go. Okay, so it's not, it's set up to internet, and the default for internet is going to be 0 by default. That's fine. Go ahead and give it a no shutdown. Then let's go ahead to interface gigabit 00, which is the inside network. IP address, default gateway, name if inside. The security level for inside is set to 100 by default. And then after that, let's go ahead and give it a no shutdown. Save it. Let's see if we are able to ping 200.1.1.2. We are. Let's see if we're able to ping the ASDM at that 2. Let's see if we can ping computer 3, computer 1. and computer 2. We are, so that's good. We have connectivity. So now let's go ahead to the, we're going to stay here on the firewall. So we're going to configure everything using the ASA. So let's go ahead and give it a config T. And from here, the first thing that I like to do is create an object, and it's going to be a network. And this one's going to be the inside network. That's what we're going to call it. So the inside network is going to have a, let's see, it's going to have a IP range. So I think if we got it, if we give it a range over here, we should be able to do that. So let me see, range is a range. Yep, so we can set the, let me see, so we can set that up, or actually not a range. A range is going to be for the pool, for the public pool. So for this one over here, all we need to do is just set up a subnet, and this one is going to have a subnet of 192.168.1.0, and it's going to have a mask of 255.255.0, which is just 24. And then after that, we can just give it a description network, and this one is going to be the inside network. There we go. And now let's go ahead and create. I forgot we needed to create the pool first because we need to use the pool for the inside network. So if we do a object network, and we're going to create this asset translated, it's going to be called translated pool. And inside this object, what we need to do is from here is where we have to give the range, and it's going to be from 200.1.1.5 to 200.1.1.15. So there's the IP, the public IP addresses that are going to be translating this inside network, right? From 200.1.1.5 all the way to 200.1.1.15. And then what we could do for here, we can just give it a description. We are going to call it pool for inside network. Okay, so pool for inside network. And now we need to go back into the object network inside network. And then from here, we need to set up the NAT, the network address translation. And this one is going to have it's going to be coming from the inside, and it's going to the internet. And then over here, we set up as dynamic. And the dynamic, we're going to be using the what do we call that? Translator pool. Oops, just go ahead and delete that and just paste this right here. So what we're saying is right here, we are going to NAT the object that we created, which is network inside network, which is called the inside network. So we are translating the inside to the internet using dynamic network address translation. And we're going to be using the translated pool, um, which is the range from 200.1.1.5 to 200.1.1.15. And I receive an error. Spell with space right here. There we go. So you need to give it a space after net, and then we're going to use the inside network or the inside zone that we created on interface gigabit 00, and we're going to the internet, which is this one gigabit 01, and we are using dynamic NAT, and the dynamic pool is going to be the translated pool, which is this range right here. Okay, so that is set up like that. We can just go ahead and click exit right here, and now let's see if we're able to ping 200.1.1 or 200.1.1.2, which is the, see if we're able to ping 200.1.1.2, which is this right over here, and they are timing out. So let's go ahead and do a debug IP ICMP packet. And let's try to ping again and let's see what's happening. And as you can see, um, PC1 is timing out because the router is able to get the packets and it is replying at 200.1.1.11, which has been selected from the pool of the translator pool that we created. And if you go to the firewall, if we do an N, if we do a show xlate, you're going to see that PC1 um, IP address 192.168.1.3 is being translated into the 200.1.1.11, which is the one that the router is trying to ping right here, but it's not able to ping because the router is not able to get into the inside network. So to be able to get into the inside network, we need to create a access list. So if we go to config T, and right here, let's create an access list, and we're going to name this router to inside. That's what we're going to name it, and we're going to permit, IP, and let's just say any, right? So since we have created this access list, now we need to add it into access group, into an access group, and it's going to be called router to inside because we are going to tell it to use, um, we are going to tell this group to use this access list and to add it into the in of the internet interface. Did I forget something? Okay, into the in interface going into the internet. There we go. Okay, so we are telling this firewall to put in this access list that we created into the internet interface of internet. So it's going to put it right here, and it is coming inside the ASA. So it's going to allow traffic to come in. So now if we go ahead and ping, we should be able to get replies. There we go. So before we were not able to get replies because the firewall by default does not allow traffic to come in into the inside network, but it does allow traffic to go out of the inside and into the internet. So that's why we created that access list, so we were able to get traffic to come back in. And if you want to do it a little bit more secure, what you could do instead of doing this access list into permit IP any, what you could do is permit IP, and then you can put the source, which is the inside network, which is going to be 192.168.1. Oh, not this one. It's going to be the source. It's coming out. It's coming in. All right. So the source will be the 200.1.1.2, and then coming into the destination of the inside network, which is 192.168.1.0, and then you can give it a /24 after that. So that's how you can make it more secure. I just did it like that because I wanted to do it a little bit quicker, but that's how you could do it. And guys, this is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you guys enjoyed this video, go ahead and follow me on Twitter at CCNA Daily Tips. And like I always say, if you don't have a Twitter account, you can always create a Twitter account because I know you have a email. So, and after you create that Twitter account, you can go ahead and follow me on Twitter at CCNA Daily Tips. And also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel where I have a lot of videos on the CCNA security, the CCNA exam, and also the CCNP exam. So, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one, guys. Bye bye. Happy 4th.